How does this value-priced boxcar stack up against more expensive high-end offerings? Let's find out. Hi, I'm Dan Cortopassi, and today I'm reviewing an HO scale FMC 50-foot boxcar from Athearn. My model is decorated for Western Pacific. I got my car as a review sample from Mike's Trains in Thomasville, North Carolina. The MSRP for this car is $39.99. Mike's Trains sold this car for $33. Price-wise, I would categorize this as a mid-range model. The car comes in at a somewhat lower cost than many of the other high-end boxcars that I typically review. The lower price will factor into the evaluation. We'll start this model at 100 possible points. The car comes in a cardboard box with a clear plastic window on top. A two-piece clear plastic cradle protects the model. Transparent, flexible plastic helps to protect the paint and details. The trucks have foam pads underneath that need to be removed before running the model. There's a sheet of paper inside the box with exploded view drawings. This is a good box that should protect the model for storage and transport. Production of the FMC 5077 cubic foot double-door boxcar began during the incentive per diem boxcar boom of the 1970s. Large numbers of these cars were purchased by shortlines and often appeared in very colorful paint schemes. According to the Atlas website, since they also make a model of this car, Western Pacific was the only Class I railroad to purchase the double-door 5077. Doing some research, though, it appears that this car is a FUBI. That's a model railroader term for a car that's not quite accurate. WP did have FMC 5077 cars, but WP 38298 was from a batch of cars built by Pacific Car and Foundry in 1980. Both are double-door boxcars of similar size and are outwardly very close in appearance. The most noticeable difference is that the panels behind the side ladders are a little wider on the PC and F cars. There's a photo of WP 38298 on page 75 of Patrick Doran's Western Pacific Locomotives and Cars, and careful study reveals the discrepancies. The real cars were some of the last new pieces of rolling stock purchased by WP with the modernized feather insignia. Since WP also had the FMC cars, it seems odd that Athearn chose a PC and F car number. The two are close enough in appearance that many people might not even notice, and I'll admit it took me a while to see it as well. In fact, I might have missed it altogether if not for the photo caption. Still, this is inaccurate, so I'm taking 5 points. Photos suggest that many of these cars had their doors replaced later in their lives with superior doors, painted in a different shade than the main body color. Replacing the doors would be an ambitious project, but would be a way to update the car. I found photos of cars like this from as late as 2022, albeit heavily tagged. The model could be used for any era from 1980 to the present. The paint on the car is opaque and evenly applied. The lettering is crisp and the small stencils are legible with magnification. There are some very tiny voids in the markings that wrap over the ribs, but I can't really see them unless I use a magnifying glass. The model has a well-done combination of molded on and separately applied parts so that it looks more detailed than it really is. I like it that Athearn used freestanding wire rungs on the side ladders. The corner stirrups are delicate looking and should be handled with care. The tack boards on the side doors are molded on, but very well done and in the correct location. These doors don't open. On the ends, the car has freestanding ladders, wire and grab irons, separately applied tack boards, and photo-etched crossover platforms. The B end has a nicely done brake wheel and chain. There are no uncoupling levers or air hoses, but I think that's acceptable on a model in this price range. Aftermarket parts are available for people wishing to add those details. On top, the roof has nice X-panel detail. Underbody detail is very basic, reminiscent of old Athearn Blue Box models. Again, at this price, I think this is acceptable. I've added brake plumbing made from brass wire on cars like this. It's a fun detailing project, though on many cars it's almost impossible to see when the model is on the track. Oddly enough, the trucks have brake beam detail. The car has metal wheels with the standard RP25 tread profile. The end caps don't rotate. The car has plastic McHenry couplers on both ends. Looking for a match on the horizontal center line, the coupler on the A end is at the correct height. The coupler on the B end is high, so I'm taking 5 points. All the wheels are in gauge according to the NMRA standards gauge. There is no significant body wobble. The car weighs 4.5 ounces, which matches the NMRA recommended weight for a car of this length. The car is very free rolling. I'm testing the car on some Kato 550mm curves, which equates to about a 21 5/8 inch radius. It seems to work fine. Since it's my preference, I'm going to replace the stock couplers with KD 158s. I'll start by removing the truck so that I have better access to the draft gear box. Then I can remove the draft gear box lid and the original couplers. The coupler box lid clamps down a little too hard, keeping the KDs from swinging freely. I noticed that the lid was bowed slightly, so I filed the inside. Now the coupler swings like it should. The A-end coupler came out at the right height, but the B-end coupler is still slightly high. I'll file the truck bolster a little to lower the car on the B-end. That did the trick. Now the car is ready for service. So Athearn seems to have dropped the ready-to-roll name from their mid-range line and is just calling it Athearn. The higher-end cars are Athearn Genesis, and the cheaper cars are Roundhouse. One of the things I really like about the approach that Athearn took with this car is that it still has wire, grab irons and nice corner stirrups and photo etch crossover platforms. So there's nothing on this car that needs to be carved away if you wanted to upgrade it. It's basically a matter of adding detail parts. If you want the detail like uncoupling levers, you can add those with aftermarket parts. Same thing with air hoses, brake detail, and so on. But there's no need to do surgery on the car, which is something that, if you have an older car with molded on things and you want it to be upgraded, that's kind of what you have to do typically. So I'm really glad they did it this way, as it saves a lot of work. And also the car is detailed enough the way it is that I don't think it would look weird, next to one of the higher end cars like from Athearn Genesis or Scale Trains or Rapido or Tangent or something like that. So overall, I think they did a pretty good job and I like the approach. Let's see what we've got. The body style and reporting mark combination is inaccurate, so I took 5 points in the prototype accuracy category. The car had one high coupler, so I took 5 points in the standards and operation category. That leaves us with 90 out of 100 possible points, which earns an A-. This is a nice model and it deserves a green signal. Overall, I think Athearn did a pretty good job on this car. If you're looking for a Western Pacific boxcar for your HO scale layout, then I think you might like it. If you like this video, then please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Stay tuned and thanks for watching.